What is going on, everybody? My name is Nico and welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. Today, I want to talk about some Pokemon that are, in my opinion, rather slept on in the format. They might be seeing some use, but I don't think they're getting the use that I feel they deserve. And I want to talk about a handful of these particular Pokemon today. Some of these are going to be kind of obvious based on the results of Portland, but some of these are going to be less so. And I want to talk about all of them individually. So if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you are subbed for more competitive Pokemon content from me every single day. And also leave a comment below. Today, Tears of the Kingdom came out. I have to get videos done before I can play this game. You can see it's still in the wrapper. Let me know in the comments. Are you playing Tears of the Kingdom? Because I'm so excited to hop into this game. But let's get into this video. So the first Pokemon on my list is Earthworm. Earthworm, I feel, is in a very, very good spot in this particular format. I think Earthworm is really fun because of Earth Eater. Now, if you don't know what Earth Eater does, actually, if you get hit by a ground type attack, Earthworm automatically regains health. It regains 1/4 of its max HP when hit by ground type moves. That is incredibly powerful in this current format because there are so many good ground type Pokemon, and ground is such a powerful typing right now in the metagame that Earthworm plays very, very well. Now, I think this is incredibly solid because of things like Great Tusk, Garchomp, Dragonite, Tinglu. So many Pokemon are running ground type moves right now, and this has access to Shed Tail. Having the ability to have such a slow Pokemon like Earthworm be able to get out on the field, apply pressure to things like Flutter Mane through the use of things like Heavy Slam, or applying pressure to Chen Pao, things like that with, you know, your body presses and that. You have a lot of pressure just with having this Pokemon alone. But on top of that, having access to Shed Tail and basically getting a free switch into a substitute on another Pokemon is incredibly solid. Think about switching into, you know, a Flutter Mane, for example. Being able to get that sub up and immediately start just doing work with your Flutter Mane, especially if it's like a Choice Specs variant or something to that nature. Very, very powerful. Another Pokemon that would pair so nice with this is Dragonite. Dragonite with Earthworm is crazy right now because you can sit behind your substitute and start setting up dragon dances and just start doing crazy amounts of damage with your Dragonite, including things like running Earthquake to rotate your Earthworm back in, heal it up, and then get another Shed Tail up. There's a lot of really powerful synergies that you can do with Earthworm, and I feel like it's in a really solid place currently in this metagame. The next Pokemon I want to talk about here is Abomanow, and I feel like Abomanow has been decent in previous formats, and the reason for that is it's really our only snow setter, right? As a Pokemon that just rotates in and sets the snow, it's our only option because we don't have access to Alolan Ninetales right now. But I think that because of this, Abomanow has had a chance to shine, and we even saw Nick Navarre run it at Portland Regionals and do very, very well with it. So I think that Abomanow is in a really fun place right now, and especially because you're running things like Life Orb on it. And that might seem interesting to some, and like a Water Terra type to avoid Arcanines and stuff, but I feel like this is just incredibly solid if you consider the fact that you can run this next to a bundle. And if you don't know what Snow does for Ice types, it actually boosts your defenses. So things like Abomanow and Iron Bundle gets way more bulky in the defensive category, going up against things like Arcanine and things of that nature, to just allow you to eat more hits and do more damage. And throwing it next to a bundle, which is the fastest Pokemon in the format, being able to immediately set up Aura Veil is incredibly strong. Like, it's just so powerful being able to just drop this and allow Abomanow to start doing damage with Life Orb. I think this is a really fun synergy that is just so incredibly powerful. And then using things like Blizzard on both Pokemon. And also with this, its move pool is pretty good, allowing it to have Blizzard, Energy Ball, or Giga Drain, and then also having Earth Power with Protect allows us to play into things like Arcanine, Palafin, all those Pokemon that just really don't like, you know, or even like Garchomp, Dragonite, things like that. Anything that doesn't like, you know, Grass type damage or Ice type damage or even Ground. Abomanow sits pretty in front of those Pokemon, and I really like it for that reason. So I think Abomanow is a really fun pick right now next to Bundle and just Ice teams in general. Next up, we have Corvinite, and Corviknight is just so fun. Now, Corviknight did see some use previously in Series 2, however, I feel it's a bit better in Series 3. The reason I feel that way is mainly because we've seen a decline in Iron Hand's use, and Iron Hands was like our main electric type damage dealer in the format. Flutter Mane occasionally will run Thunderbolt, but it's kind of seeing a decline. More people are opting for like Booster Energy and Protect on their Flutter Mane anymore, so you're not having to worry about that as much, and the only types that you have to be worried about in terms of Corviknight is electric type and fire type, and tearing this Pokemon into a dragon type actually eliminates negates both of those threats. So that makes this a really solid pick onto a lot of teams right now. And I've mentioned ground types being so prevalent in the format. Allowing something like a Great Tusk or a Garchomp to sit next to a Talonflame is very, very solid. You can just start spamming Earthquakes. This thing does have access to Tailwind, a little slower Tailwind, but on a lot of balanced teams, slower Tailwind is not necessarily a bad thing. So I definitely think that Corviknight has a really nice place right now. You saw previously in other formats like Dragonite, Salamence, all those things doing slow Tailwind setups, and I think that Corviknight fits that very, very well while being just a bulky menace that is very tough to break through, especially when you consider the fact that it does have Mirror Armor. Things like Gyarados and Arcanine have a very difficult time with this out on the field, so I think that Corviknight is just a very, very solid pick. And I've even seen some people running Corviknight with a Choice Band. I featured a team with this the other day, and Corviknight can do a crazy amount of damage with a Choice Band in its hand, so I think it's a really, really solid pick right now in the metagame, something that I love to see because Corviknight is such a great Pokemon that I'm hoping that it just keeps popping up. Next up, Azumarell. Now, Azumarell is one that I think is really solid right now. I made a video just the other day talking about we're seeing a decline in Palafin balance. And the reason that we're seeing the decline in Palafin balance is because people are starting to incorporate other water-type Pokemon into that position that Palafin would normally fill. Things like Gyarados, things like Iron Bundle. Now Azumarell is even popping up. There was a team that I think placed in the top 16 at Portland that featured Azumarell on a standard Palafin balance team. I think that Azumarell fits this so well, and the reason it fits it so well is because of huge power. Think of Azumarell kind of like Palafin Light. You're able to just get it out there and not have to start rotating and just start doing crazy amounts of damage off rip. And Azumarell plays so well into things like Tinglu, Chien-Pao, Wo-Chien, Chi-Yu. All of the ruinous Pokemon do not play well into Azumarell, and it just does such large amounts of damage that a lot of other Pokemon in the format really don't like playing into this either. Like Fluttermane doesn't like taking a hit from this. Bundle can take a hit, but if you're running Brick Break on this, it has a hard time. Other Pokemon like Arcanine or Amoonguss, if you're running Ice Spin or Azumarell, there's just so many things that Azumarell plays so solidly into right now that I think if you're looking to fill that water type position and don't feel quite comfortable running Palafin, Azumarell is a really solid option because, you know, with Palafin, there is the rotation factor. It's very difficult for a lot of newer players being able to go, okay, do I rotate Palafin here into something else, or do I keep Babyfin in and start doing damage? So I think that having something like Azumarell that can fill that role without necessarily having to think extra about it puts it in a really solid position. Next up, we have Jumplove, and I don't think this one is necessarily a surprise to many people, considering Joseph Ugarte won Portland Regionals with a Jumplove team. But I think Jumplove is one that a lot of people have overlooked, but it plays very solidly right now because of Sun teams being so prevalent. And it just fits as being that Pokemon that can get out, set Tailwind very quickly. Obviously, there are other really solid Tailwind setters like Talonflame, Murkrow, Roaring Moon that are still doing the fast Tailwind setups. Even Iron Jugulus is popping up here and there, but Jumplove having access to Sleep Powder as well is incredibly powerful, and it also has decent damage output with Leaf Storm. Being able to just hit stuff with Leaf Storm and do like a surprise amount of damage is really, really solid on this Pokemon. Also, having access to Fast Encore is crazy. So Jumplove is actually a really solid supporter Pokemon right now in the current metagame, and I think it's one that we're going to see pop up even more. I've used it on a handful of different teams, and I actually have a video featuring it fairly recently with like this Roaring Moon Earthquake team that's really, really fun to use. So I think Jumplove is a really exciting Pokemon to see because it's never really been like the biggest pick. I think of it like a Whimsicott Light because you have so much setup invested into getting it rolling, but it does so much for a team that I definitely think we're going to continue seeing it used in this fashion. The final Pokemon on my list is Mousehold, and Mousehold has been good. Mousehold has never not been good, but we did see a decline in it in Series 3. Even like Mouseape has kind of fallen off a bit, but Mousehold actually came back in force at Portland. I felt like I saw a ton of Mousehold, and there's a handful of them in the actual, you know, results on Victory Road that you could check out. Mousehold is just really good right now because Friend Guard is still really good, and you don't even have to run this with Annihilate. I know so many people do, but just putting this out on the field next to other Pokemon with Super Fang, you know, getting stuff down to half and allowing the other Pokemon to sweep is so incredibly powerful. Having access to Follow Me shuts down Amoonguss, you know, with Safety Goggles. This is just a really solid pick right now. It gives you the benefit of something like Tinglu or Wo-Chien without having to focus on one attack type. You know, this covers both special attack as well as physical attack, so it's just incredibly good for this Pokemon to be out and just start ignoring stuff. Basically, you just ignore damage and start lowering stuff with your Super Fangs or following me to avoid damage on your other Pokemon. It's a very, very solid pick right now, and one that I talked about at the very start of Series 3 and made a video about, saying that this was going to be a really good addition to a team. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite of the list is, and let me know also what your sleeper pick of the meta would be. I've seen some other Pokemon that are just less prevalent but still really cool, like Vivion's popping up, stuff like that. Just let me know what you think is really cool. But that is going to be it for this one. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video at any point, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Also, be sure to check out the Discord where people over there hanging out, playing Pokemon all the time. And if you want to see anything else from me, check out this video where I talk about the decline of Palafin Balance and why Palafin Balance is seeing the decline that it is, and looking at the results of Portland Regionals. Also, check out this video where I talk about the Chestnut raid counters. I have a lot of really solid builds in there that you guys can use. I think Amoonguss is the best counter personally. Definitely recommend checking that video out. And also check out this video where I rank all the starter Pokemon and their evolutions in a tier list. Very fun stuff. But until next time, peace.